Cancer money. The practical step that lowers stress. There is one practical step that most people born under cancer completely overlook, and it is quietly responsible for almost all of the financial stress they carry. Today you are going to learn what that step is, why it matters more for your sign than any other, and how taking it can change the way money flows through your life starting this week. If you have ever felt like you work hard, care deeply, and still end up worried about your finances at the end of the month, this is for you. That tightness in your chest when a bill arrives unexpectedly. That habit of mentally counting what is left before the next paycheck even lands. That quiet guilt you feel when you spend on yourself because somewhere deep inside you believe the money should go to someone else first. You know exactly what I am talking about. And the worst part is not the stress itself. The worst part is that you have probably accepted it as normal. You have told yourself that worrying about money is just part of being responsible. But what if I told you that the worry is not protecting you? It is actually blocking the very abundance you deserve. What if the thing you think keeps you safe is the thing that keeps you stuck? Stay with me through every single tip today because the last three will completely shift how you see your relationship with money. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Tip 1. Stop treating money like an emergency fund for emotions. Here is something that most people born under your sign never hear from anyone. You do not have a money problem. You have an emotional spending pattern that disguises itself as a money problem. And until you separate the two, no budget, no raise, and no side income will ever feel like enough. Let me explain what I mean. Cancer is one of the most emotionally intelligent signs in the entire zodiac. You feel everything deeply. You absorb the moods of the people around you. When someone you love is struggling, you feel their pain in your own body. And when you yourself are going through something difficult, whether it is loneliness, frustration, grief, or even just a long and exhausting week, your instinct is to find comfort. That is not a flaw. That is your nature. But here is where the trouble begins. Comfort costs money. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it is the extra takeout meal because you are too drained to cook. Sometimes it is the online order at midnight because scrolling through a store felt like the only thing that could quiet your mind. Sometimes it is saying yes to a dinner you cannot really afford because the thought of staying home alone felt worse than the credit card charge. You are not being irresponsible when you do this. You are self-soothing. You are using money the way other people might use a glass of wine or a long drive with no destination. The problem is not that you spend. The problem is that the spending is tied to emotional states rather than intentional choices. And when spending is driven by feelings instead of planning, it creates a cycle that feeds on itself. You feel stressed, so you spend. Then you feel guilty about spending, which creates more stress. Then the stress needs soothing again. And the loop continues. The practical step here is simple but powerful. Before every purchase that is not a fixed bill or a true necessity, pause for 60 seconds. Not to judge yourself. Not to force yourself to say no. Just pause and ask one honest question. Am I buying this because I need it, or because I need to feel something right now? That question alone, asked consistently, will save you more money in a single month than most financial advice you have ever received. It does not require willpower. It does not require deprivation. It just requires awareness. And awareness is something your sign has in abundance when you choose to direct it inward instead of outward. You already know how to read a room. You already know how to sense what other people need before they say a word. Now it is time to turn that same gift toward your own patterns. Start noticing the moments when your hand reaches for your phone to buy something right after an emotional experience. Start noticing the days when spending goes up and asking yourself what happened that morning. The patterns will reveal themselves quickly, and once they do, the stress starts to drop. Not because you have more money, but because you finally understand where it has been going and why. Tip 2. Build one tiny cushion before you build anything else. Every piece of financial advice out there will tell you to save. Save for retirement. Save for emergencies. Save for the future. And while none of that is wrong, it completely misses the emotional reality of being a Cancer who is already stretched thin. When you hear the word save, your body tenses. Because saving feels like sacrifice. It feels like taking something away from the present moment, from the people you love, from the comfort you need right now. And so you avoid it. Not because you are bad with money, but because the emotional weight of saving feels heavier for you than it does for most people. So here is what I want you to do instead. Forget the big goals for now. Forget the 6-month emergency fund. Forget the retirement calculator. Just build one tiny cushion. I am talking about a small amount of money that sits in a separate place and does not get touched. Could be the equivalent of 1 week of basic expenses. That is it. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that requires you to give up the things that bring you peace. Why does this matter so much for your sign specifically? Because Cancer lives in a constant state of low-level financial anxiety. Even when things are fine, there is a whisper in the back of your mind that says, "What if something goes wrong tomorrow?" That whisper drains your energy. It makes you tighten up. It makes you overwork. It makes you say yes to things you should say no to because you are afraid of not having enough. One small cushion silences that whisper. Not forever, not completely, but enough to let your nervous system relax just a fraction. And that fraction changes everything. When your body is not locked in survival mode, you make better decisions. You negotiate better. You see opportunities you would have missed. You stop clinging to situations that are not serving you just because they feel safe. The cushion is not really about the money. It is about what the money represents. It is proof, physical, tangible proof, that you are not one unexpected expense away from disaster. And for a sign that carries the weight of everyone else's needs on top of their own, that proof is priceless. Start today, not tomorrow, not next month. Today, move a small amount into a place where you will not casually spend it. Even if it feels insignificant, even if a voice in your head says that is not enough to matter. It matters, because the act of doing it begins to rewire how your brain relates to money. Instead of money being something that always leaves, it becomes something that also stays. And that shift, as small as it seems, is the foundation everything else is built on. You are not building a fortune right now. You are building trust with yourself. You are proving to your own nervous system that you can hold on to something without giving it all away. And that trust will grow faster than you think. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. Stop lending money you cannot emotionally afford to lose. This one is going to sting a little, but you need to hear it because it is one of the biggest financial leaks your sign deals with, and almost nobody talks about it openly. You lend money to people you love even when you cannot truly afford to. And I do not just mean financially, I mean emotionally. When someone you care about asks for help, your first instinct is not to check your bank account. Your first instinct is to feel what they are feeling. Their worry becomes your worry. Their urgency becomes your urgency. And before you have even finished processing the request, you have already said yes. Not because you have the money, but because saying no feels like abandonment. Because you have linked your value as a person to your ability to provide comfort and security to others. And so you give. You give when your own bills are tight. You give when your own savings are non-existent. You give when a quiet voice inside you is screaming that this is going to hurt later. And then later comes, and it hurts exactly like that voice said it would. But here is the part that makes it worse. Most of the time, the money does not come back. Not because the people you lent it to are bad people, but because the dynamic was never really a loan. It was a gift disguised as a loan so that you could feel less guilty about the sacrifice and they could feel less guilty about the receiving. Let me be very clear about something. Generosity is beautiful. It is one of your greatest strengths. But generosity that comes at the cost of your own stability is not generosity. It is self-harm wearing a noble mask. The practical step here is to create a personal rule that protects both your finances and your relationships. The rule is this: never lend money that you would be upset to never see again. If someone asks you for an amount that would cause you stress if it disappeared forever, the answer is no. Not no because you do not care. No because you care enough about yourself to stay whole. And here's what will surprise you. When you start setting this boundary, the people who truly love you will respect it. They will not leave. They will not stop caring about you. In fact, many of them will feel relieved because they never wanted to put you in a difficult position in the first place. The ones who get angry, the ones who try to guilt you, the ones who disappear when you say "I cannot help this time," those reactions tell you something important about the dynamic. And that information, as painful as it is worth more than whatever money you would have lent them. Protecting your financial peace is not selfish. It is survival. And you cannot pour from an empty cup no matter how badly you want to try. Tip 4. Separate your accounts so your brain can relax. There is a reason why your finances feel chaotic even when the numbers technically work out. Everything is in one place, one account, one pile of money where bills, groceries, personal spending, and whatever is left over all sit together in one undifferentiated mass. And for a brain like yours, a brain that is constantly calculating risk and scanning for threats, that single pile creates maximum anxiety. Because you can never really tell how much is for what. You look at the balance and it looks fine. But then you remember the electricity bill comes out in 3 days. And the car payment after that. And suddenly the number that looked fine a moment ago feels dangerously low. And the stress response kicks in all over again. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Separate your money into different containers. It does not have to be multiple bank accounts, although that works well. It can be envelopes. It can be a spreadsheet with categories. It can be a simple app that lets you label different portions of your balance. The point is that your brain needs to see money in categories, not in one lump sum. When bills have their own space, you stop worrying about accidentally spending them. When personal spending has its own limit, you stop feeling guilty every time you buy something for yourself. When savings have their own corner, you can watch them grow without feeling like they might get swallowed by next week's expenses. This is not about being more organized. This is about reducing the mental tax that your sign pays every single day. You are already carrying the emotional weight of everyone around you. You do not need your finances adding to that weight. Give your money a structure that your brain can trust. And watch how quickly the anxiety begins to fade. The structure does not have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more likely you are to stick with it. 3 categories is enough for most people. What goes out for fixed costs? What is available to spend freely? What stays and grows? That is it. 3 simple sections that turn financial chaos into financial clarity. And clarity for a Cancer is one of the most calming things in the world. You do not need more money to feel at peace with money. You need to see what you have in a way that makes sense. Once your brain can see the structure, it stops panicking. Once it stops panicking, you start making better choices. And better choices lead to better outcomes. It is a cycle that works in your favor for once instead of against you. Tip 5. Charge what you are worth even when it feels uncomfortable. If you work for yourself, or if you have ever been in a position to set your own prices, negotiate a raise, or ask for more compensation, you already know how hard this is for you. Not because you do not know your value. Deep down, you know exactly how good you are at what you do. But because asking for more feels like you are being greedy. It feels like you are putting yourself above the other person. And for a sign that is wired to nurture and serve, that feeling is almost unbearable. So you undercharge. You over-deliver. You say yes to rates that make you quietly resentful because the alternative was a conversation that might have made someone uncomfortable. And you tell yourself that it is fine, that the important thing is the work. That money is not why you do what you do. And while that might be true, it does not change the fact that you need money to live. It does not change the fact that your skills have real measurable value. And it does not change the fact that every time you accept less than you deserve, you send a message to your own subconscious that says you are not worth the full amount. That message accumulates over time. It does not just affect your bank account. It affects your confidence, your energy, your willingness to put yourself out there. The less you charge, the more you have to work to make up the difference. The more you work, the more drained you become. The more drained you become, the less energy you have to deliver your best. And the less you deliver, the easier it becomes to justify the low price. It is a downward spiral disguised as humility. The practical step is this. Whatever you are currently charging or earning, look at it honestly and ask yourself one question. Would I be comfortable if someone I loved was earning this amount for the same work? If the answer is no, you already know what needs to change. You do not have to double your rates overnight. You do not have to walk into your employer's office and demand a raise tomorrow. But you do have to start treating your financial value with the same respect you give to everyone else's needs. Start small. Raise one price. Ask for one adjustment. Have one conversation you have been avoiding. The discomfort will be real, but it will pass. And on the other side of it is a version of you that earns what you are worth and sleeps better at night because of it. Your nurturing nature is a gift to the world, but it is not supposed to come at the cost of your own financial well-being. You can be generous and well compensated at the same time. Those two things were never in conflict. The conflict was only ever in your head. Tip 6. Stop making financial decisions when you are emotionally flooded. This tip alone could save you thousands over the course of a single year. And yet almost no one talks about it because it sounds too simple to be meaningful. But for your sign, it is everything. You must stop making financial decisions when you are in a heightened emotional state. I am not just talking about sadness or anger. I am talking about any intense emotion, including excitement, relief, or that rush of feel-good energy that comes after a really great day. Why? Because Cancer processes the world through emotion first and logic second. That is not a weakness. In many areas of life, it is your superpower. But when it comes to money, it creates blind spots. When you are sad, you spend to feel better. When you are happy, you spend to celebrate. When you are anxious, you spend to feel in control. When you are relieved, you spend because you feel like you finally can. Notice the pattern. No matter what the emotion is, the spending follows. And the decisions you make in those moments are almost never the ones you would make with a clear and settled mind. The practical rule is this: give yourself a waiting period, 24 hours minimum. Whenever you feel a strong urge to make a financial decision, whether it is a purchase, an investment, a commitment, or even a generous gift, wait one full day. If the decision still feels right after the emotion has passed, go ahead. If it does not, you have just saved yourself money and regret. This is not about distrusting your instincts. Your instincts are often brilliant, but there is a difference between an instinct and an impulse. An instinct stays with you. It gets clearer over time. An impulse fades. It loses its urgency. It starts to look less necessary in the light of a new day. Learning to tell the difference between the two is one of the most financially empowering skills you will ever develop. And it does not require a spreadsheet or an app or a financial advisor. It requires one thing: patience. Patience with yourself. Patience with the process. Patience with the discomfort of wanting something now and choosing to wait. You already have more patience than most people realize. You have waited through difficult seasons. You have held space for people who took years to grow. You have stayed loyal to dreams that everyone else would have given up on. Now turn that patience toward your money. Let it sit. Let decisions breathe. Let the emotions settle before the wallet opens. You will be stunned at how much less stressed you feel when money stops being a reaction and starts being a choice. And choices made from clarity instead of chaos always lead to better outcomes. Tip 7. Invest in things that let you sleep at night. Here is something the financial world does not want you to know. The best investment for you is not the one with the highest return. It is the one that lets you sleep at night without a knot in your stomach. This matters more for Cancer than for almost any other sign because your nervous system is finely tuned. You feel risk in your body before your mind has even finished calculating the odds. And when something feels risky, you cannot relax. You check it constantly. You lose sleep. You run worst-case scenarios on repeat. And that mental and emotional cost eventually outweighs any financial gain. So when people tell you to invest aggressively or take bold risks with your money, they are giving you advice that works for their temperament but not for yours. Your sign thrives on security, not guaranteed outcomes, because nothing in life is guaranteed, but a sense of groundedness, a feeling that even if things go wrong, you are not going to lose everything you have worked so hard to build. This does not mean you should avoid investing altogether. That would be the other extreme, and it comes with its own set of problems. Money that just sits and does nothing eventually loses value over time. But you can invest in ways that match your emotional constitution. Look for stable, time-tested options. Things that grow slowly but steadily. Things that do not require you to watch a screen every day wondering if the numbers are going to crash. Boring is beautiful for your sign. Steady is stunning. Predictable is paradise. And here is the thing that nobody tells you. Conservative investments held over long periods of time often outperform aggressive ones because the aggressive investor panics and sells at the worst possible moment. You, on the other hand, are built to hold. You are built for loyalty. You are built for the long game. Use that to your advantage. Find something stable, put your money into it, and let time do what time does best. Do not compare yourself to people who brag about high-risk wins. For every person who won big, there are dozens who lost everything and just do not talk about it. Your goal is not to get rich fast. Your goal is to build security that lasts. And security that lasts is built slowly, carefully, and with deep respect for your own peace of mind. When your investments match your values and your emotional needs, something remarkable happens. You stop thinking about money with dread. You start thinking about it with quiet confidence. And that confidence, that calm, that inner knowing that you are on solid ground, that is worth more than any percentage point on a chart. Tip 8. Track your money without judging yourself for what you find. This might be the most important tip of all because it addresses the thing that keeps most people born under your sign from ever getting financially clear. Fear of looking. You are afraid to look at your bank account some days. You are afraid to add up what you spent last month. You are afraid to sit down and really honestly face the numbers. And I understand why. Because you do not just see numbers. You see evidence. Evidence that you gave too much. Evidence that you did not save enough. Evidence that you are behind where you think you should be. And all of that evidence triggers shame. And shame is the emotion your sign handles worst of all. So you avoid it. You stop looking. You let bills go to autopay so you do not have to see them leave. You keep a rough estimate in your head instead of checking the real balance. You tell yourself that not knowing is easier than knowing. But it is not. The anxiety of not knowing is actually worse than the discomfort of knowing. Because at least when you know, you can do something about it. When you do not know, the fear fills in the blanks with worst-case scenarios that are almost always more terrifying than reality. The practical step here is to set one day per week where you look at everything. Not to fix anything. Not to create a plan. Not to punish yourself. Just to look. Open the accounts. See the numbers. Notice where money came in and where it went out. And then close it. That is the whole exercise. No judgment. No corrective action. Just awareness. Why does this work? Because it breaks the pattern of avoidance. And when avoidance breaks, information flows in. And when information flows in, clarity arrives. And when clarity arrives, stress goes down. Not because the numbers changed, but because the fear of the unknown is no longer running the show. Over time, this weekly practice will do something extraordinary. It will normalize your relationship with money. Money will stop being a source of dread and start being a set of neutral facts. Numbers on a screen. Data points that tell a story. And once money becomes neutral, you gain the power to change the story. You cannot change what you refuse to see. And you cannot reduce stress about something you are actively hiding from yourself. So look, gently, without judgment, and trust that what you find is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply information. And information, no matter how uncomfortable, is always the first step towards something better. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. Protect your financial energy the way you protect your emotional energy. You already know how to protect your emotional energy. You know when to leave a room that feels heavy. You know when a conversation is draining you. You know when someone's mood is pulling you down, and you need to step away to recover. This awareness is one of your greatest gifts. But most people born under your sign never think to apply that same awareness to their financial life. And the truth is that money has energy too. Every financial relationship you are in carries a frequency. The job that underpays you but keeps you trapped with just enough security to be afraid to leave. The friend who always suggests expensive activities and then expects you to keep up. The subscription you forgot about that quietly drains a small amount every month. The family expectation that you will always be the one to cover certain costs because you always have before. Each of these is a leak. And just like an emotional leak drains your mood and your health, a financial leak drains your resources and your peace. The practical step is to audit your financial relationships the same way you would audit your personal ones. Go through every recurring charge, every regular expense, every financial commitment you have made, and ask yourself this question about each one. Does this add to my life, or does it just take from it? If something takes more than it gives, it is time to cut it. Not with anger, not with guilt, with the same quiet resolve you use when you distance yourself from a person who is no longer good for your well-being. Canceling a subscription is not dramatic. Leaving a financial arrangement that no longer serves you is not selfish. Saying no to an expense that someone else expects you to cover is not cold. These are acts of self-preservation. And self-preservation is not optional for your sign. It is essential, because without it, you give until there is nothing left. And then you blame yourself for being empty. Protect your financial energy the way you protect your heart. Guard it. Be selective about where it goes. And do not feel guilty for choosing yourself. You have spent your whole life making sure everyone else was taken care of. It is time to make sure you are taken care of too. This is not a one-time exercise. This is a practice. Come back to it every few months. Financial leaks are sneaky. New ones appear without you noticing. Old ones come back in different forms. Stay vigilant. Stay aware. And trust that protecting what is yours is not just smart. It is necessary. Tip 10. Give yourself permission to want more without guilt. This is the tip that ties everything together. And it might be the hardest one for you to accept. So read it slowly and let it land wherever it needs to land. You are allowed to want more money. You are allowed to want abundance. You are allowed to want financial freedom, security, comfort, and even luxury, without feeling guilty about it. I know that might sound simple, but for your sign it is revolutionary. Because somewhere along the way you picked up a belief that wanting more is selfish, that good people sacrifice, that real love means putting everyone else's needs before your own, that if you have too much it means someone else does not have enough. And so you cap yourself. You set invisible limits on how much you are allowed to earn, how much you are allowed to save, how much you are allowed to enjoy. And whenever you bump up against those limits, guilt rushes in and pushes you back down. That guilt is not wisdom. It is a wound. It is the voice of every person who ever made you feel bad for having needs. It is the echo of every situation where your desires were treated as less important than someone else's. And it has been running your financial life for far too long. The practical step here is not about action. It is about permission. Right now, in this moment, give yourself permission to want more. Say it out loud if you need to. Write it down. Let it feel uncomfortable. Let the guilt rise and then let it pass. Because on the other side of that guilt is a version of you who earns freely, saves without shame, spends without punishment, and gives from overflow instead of from depletion. That version of you is not greedy. That version of you is whole. And the world needs you whole. Your family needs you whole. The people you love and care for need you to be whole because you cannot sustain generosity from a place of lack. You can only sustain it from a place of fullness. Wanting more does not make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. Every human being on this planet wants security. Every human being wants to know that tomorrow is going to be okay. The difference between you and most people is that you also want everyone else to be okay. And that is beautiful. But it does not require you to sacrifice your own well-being. You can hold both. You can want more for yourself and more for the people around you. Those two desires are not in conflict. They never were. The conflict was planted in you by a world that benefits when generous people stay small. Refuse to stay small any longer. Let yourself want. Let yourself receive. Let yourself grow. The money you are meant to have is not taking anything from anyone. It is simply finding its way to someone who will use it to do good in the world. And that someone is you. Tip 11. Create a financial ritual that grounds you every single week. You are a creature of rhythm. Your sign is deeply connected to cycles. The cycle of the moon, the cycle of the tides, the ebb and flow of emotional seasons. And yet, when it comes to money, most people born under Cancer have no rhythm at all. Money comes in, money goes out, and the whole thing feels random and unpredictable. That lack of rhythm creates anxiety because your system craves pattern, craves something it can count on, something that repeats and feels stable. And the absence of a financial rhythm means your nervous system is always slightly on edge, always waiting for the next surprise, always bracing for something unexpected. The practical step is to create a financial ritual, not a budget, not a plan, a ritual, something that feels grounding and intentional. Something you do at the same time every week that connects you to your money in a calm and centered way. It could be a few quiet minutes every weekend morning where you sit with a warm drink and look at your accounts. Not to stress, not to plan, just to connect, to see what is there, to acknowledge what came in and what went out, to feel the flow of your financial life instead of running from it. It could be a moment at the end of each week where you write down one thing you are grateful for financially. Not something big, not something dramatic, just one thing. The bill that was smaller than expected, the meal you cooked at home that saved you a few dollars, the unexpected amount that showed up when you needed it. Gratitude changes the energy around money, and energy matters more than most people are willing to admit. When you approach money with fear, it feels like there is never enough. When you approach it with resentment, it slips away faster. But when you approach it with calm attention and quiet gratitude, something shifts. The tightness loosens, the scarcity fades, and space opens up for more to come in. Your ritual does not have to be long. 5 minutes is enough. 10 is generous. The point is not the duration. The point is the consistency. The point is that you show up for your financial life the way you show up for the people you love. Regularly, gently, and with full attention. Over time, this ritual will become an anchor, something your nervous system learns to trust. A weekly reminder that you are in relationship with money, not at war with it. And that shift from war to relationship changes everything. War is stressful. Relationship is sustainable. War depletes you. Relationship nourishes you. And you deserve to be nourished by every part of your life, including the financial part. Start this week. Pick a day, pick a time, and show up, even when the numbers are not what you want them to be. Especially when the numbers are not what you want them to be. Because showing up when things are hard is what builds the trust that carries you through every storm. Tip 12. Understand that financial peace is not a destination. It is a daily practice. Most people think financial peace means reaching a specific number, a certain amount in savings, a certain income level, a certain net worth. And once they hit that number, they believe the stress will disappear and everything will feel secure. But that is not how it works, especially not for your sign, because your stress around money was never really about the amount. It was about the feeling, and feelings do not respond to numbers the way you think they will. You could double your income tomorrow and still feel the same low hum of anxiety if you have not changed the patterns that created it. You could save 10 times what you have now and still feel the urge to check your account at 3 in the morning. You could reach every financial goal you have ever set and still feel like it is not quite enough. That is not because something is wrong with you. It is because you have been trying to solve an emotional problem with a financial solution. And those two things operate in different currencies. Financial peace is not a number. It is a practice. It is the practice of pausing before spending. The practice of looking at your money without judgment. The practice of setting boundaries with people who drain your resources. The practice of charging what you are worth. The practice of separating your emotions from your transactions. The practice of investing in ways that let you sleep at night. The practice of giving yourself permission to have more. Every single tip you have heard today is part of that practice. And the beauty of a practice is that it does not require perfection. You do not have to get it right every time. You do not have to follow every rule flawlessly. You just have to keep showing up. Keep pausing. Keep noticing. Keep choosing clarity over chaos, awareness over avoidance, intention over impulse. There will be days when you fall back into old patterns, days when you emotional spend, days when you give too much, days when you avoid looking at the numbers because the shame feels too heavy. And that is okay. A practice is not broken by a bad day. A practice is broken by quitting. And you are not a quitter. You never have been. You have weathered storms that would have broken most people. You have carried weight that no one even knew you were holding. You have shown up for others 1,000 times when no one showed up for you. Now show up for yourself. Show up for your financial life with the same devotion you bring to every relationship, every responsibility, every person you have ever loved. You deserve that devotion aimed inward. You deserve to feel calm about money, not because you have all the answers, but because you have the tools and the willingness to keep practicing. And practice over time always leads to mastery. Everything you heard today has one thread running through it. Financial stress for your sign is not really about money. It is about the emotions wrapped around money. The fear, the guilt, the obligation, the self-sacrifice, the avoidance, the shame. When you untangle those emotions from your financial life, something extraordinary happens. The stress drops, not because your circumstances changed overnight, but because you changed. You stopped reacting and started choosing. You stopped avoiding and started looking. You stopped giving from emptiness and started giving from fullness. And that shift, that quiet, powerful shift, is worth more than any amount in any account. Remember this, you were not put on this earth to worry yourself sick about money. You were put here to love deeply, to nurture fearlessly, and to build a life that feels as safe and warm on the inside as the homes you create for everyone else. Start building that inner home today. One tip at a time. One practice at a time. One small brave choice at a time. The stress does not have to own you. The guilt does not have to run you. The old patterns do not have to define you. You are already changing simply by being here, by listening, by caring enough about yourself to stay until the end. And that caring, that willingness to invest in your own growth, is the most powerful financial decision you will ever make. Let everything you learn today settle into your bones. Let it work on you quietly, slowly, the way all real transformation does. And when you are ready, take the first step. Just one. The rest will follow. You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift. Or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.